Morning guys, so off to work again, and I'm going a slightly, well, quite a different way this morning. So the route I'm going, because I'm leaving later, hopefully get me there quicker, but obviously at the moment I'm going to be a bit slower. Yeah, the route that I'm going to go on doesn't have any traffic lights. So ideally, I like to try and leave at 7:30 and try to get to work for 8:30, even though I start at 9:30. But I like the idea of getting there and just being able to relax, or maybe take a longer route. There's an alternate route. So there's been times when I've gone, one time I went towards Fulham, so I headed quite westwards over to West London, and then headed towards the college via Fulham and Chelsea sort of area. I actually went past where the college used to be in Chelsea Harbour at the design centre. But today I probably left about 10 to 8. 10 or like 5 to 8. But that's alright, because I start at 9:30, so I will get there on time. I'll possibly still even get there earlier. Sorry, not earlier. I'll probably still get there early. So yeah, now we're on Melfort Road. The nice thing about Melfort Road, it goes from Fulton Heath to Norbury, Fulton Heath where I live. But there aren't any traffic lights along this road. I'm not quite sure how long it is, but it's quite long. And if I go on the main road, I usually go on the A23 London Road through Fulton Heath to Norbury. You've got several traffic lights along the way. I don't know where this micro driver thinks he's going to get to, he or she going to get to tailgating that car. I mean, I was going to come over a bit until I heard them. I mean, that's a good thing about not wearing headphones. You can obviously hear what's behind you. You can hear what side of the road it's on. Oh, sorry, I should say. Okay, I was wrong. There is a traffic light. There's a temporary one. I can see up in the distance. Yeah, temporary traffic lights just everywhere. Gonna go right, but this might not be the best decision because this road that we're turning into, there's a school nearby, and you get a lot of parents on the school run dropping their kids off. And the road goes down to a single lane as well. Yeah, you tend to get a lot of traffic because of people on the school run. I had once where I had a minor accident. Someone, he couldn't wait any longer, and they decided that they were going to let their kid out. He didn't look, they didn't look. I was coming along, and luckily was going slow enough that I didn't properly crash into the door, but bumped it. And then I heard the mum having a go at the kid, but it's like they shouldn't do that sort of thing. There's so many times where I've seen people allow their passengers to get out of the vehicle at a really inappropriate place where they could have been hit by a motorbike or a cyclist who would obviously have no idea that they're coming along, that they're gonna just open the door suddenly. I mean, sometimes it's not even opening the door slightly, it's just like full on open the door as if there's no other types of vehicles. I mean, if they were really close to the curb, fine, but when they are like a door's width away, it's like obviously as a cyclist you can get through, and you would naturally be riding in that area. This is Green Lane that we're on now. This is another route that's quite good for travelling along. It does have, towards the Fulton Heath side, it does have some traffic lights, but once you're on this end, near to Norbury, there aren't any. The only thing I tend to find is that the condition of the road isn't that great, so only having the front suspension, I don't really like to use it, but I have a friend lives in West Croydon, and he's got a Super73 RX, and he prefers to come along Green Lane because it's the other road that connects from Norbury to Fulton Heath. But the thing is, he's got front and rear suspension, if you know the RX. It's a bit like this bike, but it's got rear suspension. The thing is, his suspension is quite wafty, so he's let me ride his bike. So we were at the lights once, and he was asking me if I'd ever ridden the RX. So we put on our kickstands, and we quickly did a switcheroo at the traffic lights while they were red. And I jumped on his one, but I didn't really like it, to be honest, because it just kind of felt like you were like wallowing all over the place. I guess when you're used to your ride being a lot more solid, it is a bit weird. It's like you're kind of like bouncing all over the place. And he said he felt that my bike was better in the sense that when you set off, because it hasn't got all that suspension, you just go. So if you guys don't know, I'm sure probably a lot of you do, your suspension kind of like absorbs some of the momentum of you setting off. So yeah, he was saying that that was what he liked about the S2, that he felt it set off quicker than the RX. It seems like they pitched the RX above the S2. I was kind of thought maybe it's a bit more powerful. I guess maybe it's just the comfort factor that you can have more comfort when you're riding. So yeah, now we're on to the bit that we always go, we generally go through on this commute, the A23 in Streatham, coming up to Streatham Common. I think what I might do is when I get to St Leonard's Church, turn and head towards Balham, and then head through Clapham Common. Another reason that would be nice to go on the diversion by St Leonard's is, I mean, I don't know if I've picked it up in other videos, but they're doing roadworks through Streatham High Street, and it goes down to one lane. So, I mean, there was a point where they still had most of the road open, and it was just like a real pinch point when the buses got to one of the bus stops, and you just get stopped there. So that was my one of my step uncles, Gavin. Usually people tell me that they see me, and they'd be like calling to me or waving, and I don't see them, but it's just because I'm so focused on the road and trying not to get hit or anything like that and kill myself. And I guess I'm just really focused. But I mean, you do see what's going on the side of the road, on the pavement. But yeah, I seem to a lot of the time miss like these people who know me. So yeah, instead of going straight ahead, usually we zoom up the hill, we're going to turn left here, we're going to head towards Balham. These guys are really nipping in front of me. play this game called City Skyline. Sorry, I don't actually play it. I don't even have City Skylines or City Skylines 2. I used to have City Skylines. So I watch YouTubers playing City Skylines, building cities, and I love it. And recently, they finally brought in bicycles for the City Skylines 2. And they have e-scooters and bicycles. And one of the creators I follow, they were seeing if they could make a city that only ran on bicycles, and it didn't work. So you can have outside connections. I think I was supposed to be in that other lane. Oh well, hopefully I'll learn for the next time. But yeah, it just didn't work. So you have outside connections on the edge of the map that connect to other cities, and so that will be where you'll get people moving to your city. But just so that you could connect, but it just didn't work. Or I think when you did it, it just wouldn't allow you to connect to the edge, which is a bit unrealistic, because sometimes you will have bike paths that obviously will possibly go to another town or city, so it would allow people to move in via bicycle, but it wasn't possible, so they had to make a road, like a highway, and then from that they had, once it was on the map, it connected to a bike lane. I think it still didn't work. I can't remember, it might have been that they had to create the storage. So that's something that I believe in the game, from, if I remember correctly, attracts people to areas. So you can't just have bike lanes and then expect them to cycle. You have to have means of storing the bike, whether it be racks or a building that has a gate. So when I was watching this, I thought, you know, it's great. They've got the bike lanes now. So there's one creator that I watched, and he's building a Dutch-inspired city, and it does remind me of when I went to Amsterdam. But that was the other thing. They brought in the Dutch. Renault 5. They brought in the Dutch pack, so you had like all Dutch-inspired buildings, but no cycling, which was crazy to people. So, but anyway, to get to the point, what I felt was City Skylines needs to bring in cargo bikes. So, what reminded me of that was the lady ahead of me, further back, with her cargo bike, which they seem to have become really popular in the last year or two. Parents commuting, or not, yeah, probably commuting as well, but taking the kids to school in the cargo bike. So sometimes like 1, 2, 3 children on, or not on, but in their cargo bike. But over how many years you've had, I'll take it easy here in case I slip. Hopefully the miles and miles I've still got to go will see any of this muck get rubbed off on the road, so when I get to work it's not all over the carpet. But you know, you have Amazon, so you have Amazon, various other companies using cargo bikes, but obviously not like that cargo bike necessarily, like almost like micro vans, micro courier vans, which use pedal power. And I think that's something they need to introduce into city skylines too, or they should have also included in the cycling patch, because they had, what was it, bridges and ports. And you had a port before, but now like you can make your own custom port as you see fit, and that would be really great. And so having distribution center, because what happens, I believe, if I'm correct, is say from the port or wherever you would get a big lorry truck, 18-wheeler, and that would go to a distribution center. And then the idea, ideally, is that you get far smaller, well, you do get smaller vans, and sometimes you get like courier vans coming into the city centers. But kind of the idea is now that some companies are using these pedal-powered micro cargo bike van things. And so that would be a great feature in the game of people who want to build more of a cycle-orientated. So I think that was the Alpine A290. I probably got it totally wrong. It's probably like A1 something, 120 I think. Yeah, it'd be a really great feature. Because, I mean, like how the creator wanted to make a cycle-based city, you would still have to have vans. It could be electric, to be honest, but these micro pedal-powered delivery van things can use cycle lanes. Yeah, does anyone who's watching play or know of the game City Skylines? And what do you think about this idea? Have you ever played any city building games? So back in the day, 20 years ago, 20 plus, I used to love playing, I think it was SimCity 4. Loved that game. Sometimes I'd even end up being late for college, or like really pushing it, because I was enjoying playing the game so much. But City Skylines, like taking it to a whole new level. Definitely, especially City Skylines 1, with the community that plays the game, the assets that people have made for it. So we're going through Balham now. High Street is to my left, down these roads on the left that take you to the High Street, or the lower bit of it. The way we're going is kind of like bypassing that. up a shallower hill. And we're not far from Clapham Common now. This road is really cool, this back street. Further down, there's restaurants and shops, and essentially it's just like a residential street, but it kind of has like a very village kind of feel about it. Like a proper like urban village. It would be nice if people would indicate when they want to pull over, so they actually bloody know what they're doing. So my hands do feel better now that I've put the thicker gloves on. Because usually I like to play the music, I tend to not wear them and endure the pain. But because I'm filming, he doesn't really, I don't need the dexterity. Okay, so this is Clapham Common to our left. Okay, so about halfway along it now. If I'd gone the way that I was kind of thinking I was going to go originally, we would have entered it or got to it at one of the southernmost points. video where I was in Covent Garden, I was talking about the Transport Museum. So on the right, it's sort of pyramid glass structure. That's the Sainsbury's supermarket. So that, I believe, is where the Transport Museum originally was before it moved to Covent Garden. Yeah, we're on Clapham High Street now, which isn't far from where my paternal granddad used to live when I was really little. Usually I'd go straight ahead, heading towards Vauxhall, but I felt like going on another alternate route, another diversion, so we're heading towards Battersea Power Station. So we're going to turn off at I think like in about 100 meters and follow the Thames path. If we were to keep going along the road on the right, you'd eventually, you might eventually see in my footage the American Embassy. Actually, you can see it a bit on the right. So in another video I talked about mental health and finding cycling being great for my mental health. So like when I'm at work, the building is very grey, there's not much visual stimulation, which is crazy considering it's an art school. They do interior design and garden design, and yet the building, the interior, is very devoid of colour. So it's always nice to get out and about and see stuff, but I find that it's really nice to cycle along the Thames path and see the river to the left or to one side of you. I guess just have that connection with nature. So glad that I got gloves on, so I didn't feel that. Obviously I didn't get scratched or anything by that bush. I didn't want to ride too close to that jogger, because I know as a pedestrian, when a cyclist comes past you too fast, it can be quite startling. So the whole journey, actually, I've had the light on, the headlights. Usually, you'd only have it on when it's dark. But I mean, the design of the light has a day running light. But I feel that hopefully it makes you more visible to people coming along who don't have their heads buried in their phones. Usually to go up this ramp, turn right, head back to the road, but I think a few months ago they opened this path back up, which it had been closed for quite a while because of the Thames Tideway Tunnel work, which was work to build a super sewer for London, so that when you had, I believe, very heavy rainfall, you didn't have the excess sewage, the deluge of water just flushing all the water, or the sewage I should say, into the Thames. But as part of that, they built things like this. So they've built kind of like peninsulas that jut out a bit further into, or a lot further into the Thames. And they've created new public open spaces. I mean, they're not too dissimilar from the embankment, which was also built to house London's first set of sewers, designed by, I believe it was Joseph Bazalgette. And not only does it contain the sewer, it also contains some of the tube lines. But imagine that was built in the Victorian times, and it was still quite fairly fit for purpose for a vastly bigger population than when it was built. So even though the pace is a lot slower now, as I said, it's just really nice to be next to the water. So this is actually a shared zone, this pavement up here. So yeah, as I was saying, this is actually a shared zone. There aren't any signs, so when you get to the tunnel under the bridge, there's a sign either end of it above the entrance, both entrances, that I think it says something like they welcome considerate cycling or something like that. You know, be considerate to the pedestrians. It's also nice in, maybe it's kind of a bit strange, but it's nice to come along here and pass by the hospital that I was born in, and also see the Houses of Parliament just directly across the river, and just remind myself that I don't know, I always say like you can't get much more London than this, being born somewhere like that. Okay, so there's going to be quite a few photo shoots happening up ahead. Wondering if I might be going a bit too slow even for the jogger, because it sounded like he was almost right behind me. You could smell that H van quite some way away from it. But when I've talked in the past about pedestrianised areas and people worrying about how deliveries will be made, so that's exactly what happened. So how that H van was just going really slow. Yeah, that's what happened. They'd just be going really slow. So I was just looking out for one of my old colleagues. So I used to work at the London Eye. If I haven't mentioned that before, you haven't seen any video where I've mentioned that. And I think some of the staff, at least two of the security that are there, they used to work there when I worked there. One of them, actually one or two of them are from Croydon as well. So every time I go past and I see him, I always give him a wave and he waves back. This is a new light installation for Christmas. They've never had this type of light display before around these trees, so it'd be interesting to see what it looks like, if it's cool, and if it looks really good when it gets dark. Actually, this Friday I'll be in this area for critical mass. So we're not far from connecting up where I would usually ride to work, back to the usual route, or one of the two usual routes, over Waterloo Bridge. I was going to say Westminster Bridge.